Hey guys, Sean Terry here. What is up? I'm so excited. We're live. Actually had some couple technical difficulties trying to get on. We were just jumping through wires and fixing TVs to get up and going. All right. So glad that you're here. Excited for you to be on this live. We are going to cover a ton of information over the next couple minutes here, and we're going to talk about the real estate market. We're going to answer some questions. I'm going to show you marketing. I'm going to show you what we're doing to crush it all across the entire country. And my mission on this call, this live that we're doing, is to give you a business model. First off, give you an idea of what's happening right now in the real estate market. Why is the real estate market so hot? What's going to happen in 2021, and give you a business model that you can grab onto and you can go out there and crush it. I'm going to show you how in the last 45 days we generated over $775,000. I'm going to show you the marketing campaigns. I'm going to show you the system, how we're getting these deals, and how we're essentially day trading properties nationally all across the entire country. So I got a ton of stuff I want to show you. I'm going to give you proof. I'm going to show you what's going on, and it's going to be exciting. And I got some cool free gifts for you as well. So if you are ready, I am ready. Let's get into it. All right, questions answered. So I went out to Instagram, I went out to Twitter, I went out to Facebook, went out to my email list, and I asked questions about what do you want to know right now? And I kind of compiled the questions that came out, and here is what people are asking. They're wondering, why is the real estate market on fire right now? So here's the thing. If you are not in the game, I can tell you now is the time to get in the game. The market is on fire. Inventory is at record lows. Interest rates are at historic lows. And I'm going to tell you why we're in this crazy time in the middle of a pandemic and the market's on fire, and is it going to continue? Which leads us to the next question. Will the real estate market crash in 2021? We'll talk about that, because think about it. We've got unemployment. We've got these forbearances that have been going on. We have this eviction moratorium. So this whole tsunami of distress going on in the market. It's just kind of the can's being kicked down the road. What's going to happen? How's it going to impact the market? We're going to talk about that. Now I'm going to talk about the real estate default tsunami. The real estate default tsunami, what that is, what it's going to look like, how will it impact it, and also too, what we can do as real estate investors to position ourselves to profit during that time. And also too, we're also going to talk about the Trump versus Biden real estate. Obviously, we know right now we've had the election, and there's a lot of controversy right now about the election. And is President, Vice President-elect Biden, he won per all the mainstream media. But if you get off of mainstream media and you look at other different sources, you'll see that Trump is out there right now, and he's going to court in all these different states, in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Georgia now. They're doing recounts. Pennsylvania, they're doing recounts. Wisconsin, they're doing recounts. Arizona, here in my home state, they're looking at doing recounts. So the question is, if they do all these recounts and they only count the legal ballots, does that still make Vice President-elect Biden president? Who knows, right? But what we have to know as real estate investors, how is it going to impact us, and how is it going to impact our family? And we got to look at, other than the whole socialism versus capitalism, all that type of stuff. I'm going to just look at the comparison between finances, money, when it comes to taxes, and how that's going to impact you and your family. And everything right now is up in the air. Eventually we'll know here, hopefully by January 20th, what exactly, who's going to be in the office and how this all plays out. But You know, it depends on who you talk to. That's very polarizing on both sides. Now, I'm also going to show you how to generate $775,457 from the 2.9 million foreclosures that are about to hit the market. We're also going to talk about the #1 marketing strategy. I'm actually going to give you 2 marketing strategies that are crushing right now in the marketplace. And also I want to talk about what the best real estate investing business model is during this shifting market. I'm going to show a technique that I've called day trading properties nationally. And I'm going to do a comparison between actually trading stock options, right? And then trading houses and what that correlation is, and then how simple it is and what you can do to be able to position yourself. Now, I didn't want to get into it, but we're got a lot of stuff to cover. So here's proof. I want to give you proof right here. So I just took a quick snapshot of wires coming into my income account, my real estate income account here. And this is over the last 45 days. But if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see 148,000, 25,000, 120,000, 23,000, 14,500, 25,000, 4,500, 27,000, 17,000, 100,000, 39,000, 60,000, 11,000, 150. These are all wires from deals that we've done, you know, and these are just a handful. These are some of the deals that we've done that have come into that particular account. I have multiple. But I'm going to show you the contracts that we've used to do that. But those are essentially what we call assignment fees, right? Where we assign the contract or sell our contract for a fee. This revenue was generated using no funding. We didn't fund on these properties. I didn't have to raise capital for these deals. I didn't have to fix these properties. None of these properties I personally looked at. None of my team has that went and looked at. They're all different states and cities all across the entire country. We never visited them. We never looked at them. We never went to the state. All we did was got pictures from the seller. We found buyers in those markets, and we sold those properties in less than 30 days and got them closed and generated that revenue. I'm going to show you exactly what we are doing so you can take this business model. Now, I can tell you that for years, I've been doing this for 17 years, but for 17 years, for years, I've looked for business model, a model that I could grasp onto and I could apply and I could do, and I could generate revenue. This is the model that you've been looking for. This is the only model right now that is crushing in the marketplace right now. And it's great because you can do this from home. You don't have to have a big office, which is, I'm sitting right now in my, it's close to 5,000 square foot office, and I don't need it. All my team works remote. Now, before COVID, hey, I thought I needed a big office. Now, guess what? You can have a complete team working remote. You can work from your home, and you can do deals nationally all across the country, and you'll save yourself $60,000, $70,000 a year in lease payments. So here's real quick about me. I'll just go real quick through this, and then we're going to get into the meat. So who am I? God-loving family man of 2 beautiful daughters, happily married for the past 24 years coming up this Monday, which is exciting. 24 years, flipping houses for the last 17 years, transacted over $300+ million in deals, even getting up more than that. Currently flip 25 deals a month, host of the Flip to Freedom podcast with over 12 million listeners in 196 different countries, creator of the Flip to Freedom Academy, 9 best-selling courses with over 20,000 online members. Best-selling author, currently owns 760 student housing multifamily units across the country, and live in Phoenix and Dana Point, California. So that's me real quick. I've been doing real estate for a long time, 17 years. And I started back in 2003. I was dead broke. I was living month to month. I was frustrated. I was 33 years old. I had a brand new daughter that was just a year old, and I always wanted to be successful. I always wanted to have more. I always wanted to drive the nice cars and have the incredible lifestyle. I grew up in Vermont, and I grew up in a small, $60,000, $70,000 house. My dad made no more than $49,000 a year as a police officer, and I remember everything was, we can't afford this, and we can't afford that, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. We had the car that always broke down, and all my friends that had money would go on vacations to Bermuda and Florida, and I go to Windsor down the street to my grandmother's house, and my brother would get the top bunk and I get the bottom bunk. But that wasn't success to me. So I saw shows, you see these shows of these people are successful, and you were like, how do they do what they do? Well, I was 33. I was struggling. I was working for a job that I didn't like. I worked for a person that I didn't really like working for. And one Saturday afternoon, I was driving down the freeway and I was listening to the radio station. It was May of 2003. And I was going on to an appointment. And at the time, I was selling pools in landscaping. I would go to someone's house. I would ask them about what type of pool they wanted. I would draw their whole backyard. I would draw a pool. I'd put some landscape shrubs and trees in, right? And I'd sell them a landscaping and pool package. And that's what my job was to do in 2003. Now, it's not fun when it's 120 degrees out in Phoenix, Arizona, outside trying to draw a pool with you're melting in sweat, right? But what I found is I could hustle and I could make a commission off that, and I made money. Right? But it wasn't enough. It was still living month to month. So this Saturday afternoon, I was driving down the freeway, and I was flipping through the radio stations, and I landed on this station called 1510 KFNN. It was a financial news radio network, and I listened to it, and there was a guy on there who talked about how you could flip properties using no cash or no credit of your own. Now, first off, I was immediately, skeptical. I was skeptical. I was broke, but I was skeptical, right? I was skeptical because how could you make money in real estate without cash or credit? I thought you had to buy a property. You had to fix it up. You had to turn around and sell it. Or maybe you rented it and you had to wait long periods of time for it to appreciate. That's what I thought how you made money in real estate. I didn't understand what I'm about to show you about day trading properties. And I did that here locally, but now we took it on a national scale. I'm going to show you it's a lot easier national than it is local, especially in a competitive market. But what happened was I was listening to this guy, and here's what put me over the edge. He started having people on the show that showed examples of proof, just like that showed they made $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 on a deal with no cash or credit. And I'm like, that's impossible. How could they have done that? That's insane, right? And I was skeptical. I was so skeptical, I actually turned the channel and flipped the channel, continued driving down the street, and I'm actually laughing under my breath. And I kept on driving down. I remember I felt in my gut, it's got like God's intervention to turn the channel back, that curiosity, and listen to what this guy had to say. And he explained a concept that I'm going to share with you tonight. He explained a business model, that I've taken a twist on it, and I'm going to share with you tonight. And it literally, at the age of 33 years old, changed the entire direction of my life completely, literally in a whole different road. Within 3 weeks, I got my first deal of $11,008, and that changed everything. It turned a concept into proof that it could be done, that I could create revenue. I could create money in real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about comparable sales. I didn't know anything about fixing. I didn't know about renovation. I didn't know any about, and I didn't have any contacts. I didn't have software. We didn't have, all this information at the time that we do now. I was very limited. but I made $11,008 in my first 3 weeks, and it changed everything for me. And my mission here is to give you that business model and show you the tools that we're using that you can apply it to, in hopes that you can go out and have a massive shift and a change of direction in your life. So now, I'm also going to give you a free gift. Stay on till the end of this, and I'm going to give you a website URL that's going to take you to a page. And at the bottom of the page, there's going to be a link that you can download not only this PDF presentation so you can have it, but also these two documents right here, okay? These two documents right here are one is a purchase contract, right? And this is a purchase contract. This gives you controlling interest in real estate. It's the most important thing. Who controls the property is the most important thing. It gives you equitable interest in real estate, right? And we're talking about houses, single family houses, condos, multifamily, smaller multifamily units across the country. And this gives you controlling interest. A seller can only sell a house to one person. They can't sell to multiple people. They only can sell to one. And this gives you the interest, controlling interest. On here, you have a purchase price, and on here you have a closing date, right? Then what happens, I'm going to give you this right here, what's called an assignment contract, an assignment of contract. This allows you, this assignment contract allows you to sell this right here. It allows you to sell this contract for a price. You could sell this contract for 10 grand. You could sell it for 20 grand. You've seen some of the wires that came in there. You can sell them for 100,000, 150,000, 60,000, 20,000, 25,000. It depending on the actual price of this contract that you signed with the seller. Now, so you're going to get both those at the end of this call, plus you're going to get a copy of the slide deck, and then we're going to email you tomorrow. We have your email. We're going to email you tomorrow a copy of the audio of this. So if you want to listen to it again in your at the gym or something like that, you can if you'd like. All right, so let's get into some of these questions. Why is the market on fire right now? Let's get into it. Inventory drives pricing in real estate. Inventory. When the inventory's low, pricing goes up, right? And demand doesn't really go up, but pricing goes up when the inventory is low. And what happens is when you have low inventory, it creates a demand perception, like there's, oh my gosh, look at all these people. For an example, my wife is a realtor. She listed a property here in Phoenix recently, actually over Labor Day. She listed it on Friday. She had 48 showings by Sunday, 8 full price offers by Monday, and 2 of those were significantly over asking price, and she sold that property, closed it in less than 30 days at a higher price than asking price. Inventory, low inventory, you have a ton of buyers in the marketplace, it goes up. So what's the next thing? COVID-19, people pulled the houses off the market, right? They didn't want people in their houses. They didn't want to have people walking through their house. Home builders stopped building. Why? Because they couldn't get people around COVID, because they had national lockdowns and everything like that. They couldn't get people to actually come to actually build the houses and work. So home builders stopped building, and simultaneously, you had the Fed come in and drop interest rates to where now we've got interest rate at historic low levels. So what happened, right? People took the properties off the market, home builders stopped building, inventory plummeted. Inventory plummeted. So if you look at it, here's an actual graph, and you can see in that gray section right there, and I have that first initial box up high, and you can see that is 2008. And this is a chart of monthly supply of inventory. So if you see in 2008 right there, 2009, there's like a peak of 12 and a half to 13 months of inventory. Now, during that time, what happened? The market completely crashed. Housing prices went from, here in Phoenix, there's properties that were $200,000 and went down to $30,000. So prices plummeted because inventory was super high. Now, if we go back to the graph and we look here down at 2020 on the bottom right-hand corner there, you'll see that we are at historic low inventory rates because they took all the properties off the market, home builders stopped building, and we have interest rates. So now we got people scurrying to buy houses. Now, do you see that little tick up? That little tick up right there? That is a telltale sign of what's happening in the market. And here's what's happening in the market. It's called affordability. Affordability, meaning what's happening now is prices have went up dramatically. And people now have, interest rates low. So what happens is you have prices are going up, interest rates low. There's a point where the interest rates can't go slow, but the houses keep going up. They become unaffordable for someone to be able to purchase. And once you get too high, what happens is it levels off. And that's what's happening now. So inventories now are starting to come back up. And if you look at it, right here, here's a month's supply you can see. So we're at about 2.5 months supply of inventory. And you'll see existing home sales in May dropped, right? We're down to 4,900 and spiked. Home sales came up like crazy. It's almost parabolic and went up and has recently just leveled off. So now the question is, so that's why the market's crazy right now. Interest rates are low, people took inventory off the marketplace, you got high demand, and then now these prices start going up. Now what happens is it's starting to tick up the inventory. In September was the first time we actually saw where pending sales decreased, where they actually had a decrease in pending sales, so less demand because of affordability. So now the next question becomes, will there be a real estate market crash in 2021? Will there be a real estate market crash in 2021? What does the real estate market look like in 2021? Well, let's look at it right here. So we all know that unemployment rate skyrocketed with COVID-19 at historic levels. Look at it. Millions and millions of people a week were filing for unemployment. Millions of people a week. Right now, we're down to roughly about 1 million people a week filing for unemployment. That's where they're getting unemployment. And if you're getting unemployment, that means you're not getting your normal paycheck. And they haven't figured out this whole government stimulus thing yet. So now, what are people to do? Well, they're not going to pay their mortgage. They're not going to pay their credit card debt. They're seeing now a spike in credit card and other debt, like their car and their credit card, and now 90 days late on their mortgage. I'll give you some numbers on that. Not paying their rent, I'll give you some numbers on that. But it's primarily due to unemployment numbers are high. Now, let's look at this right here. 21 million people unemployed, 70% are expected to return to work. 4.9 million people are furloughed, 11%. 6.6 million people have dropped out of the workforce. So what does that leave us? It leaves us to, as when all the dust settles, to about 17 to 20 million people unemployed. Now, let me share something with you. The government has ways of reporting unemployment. They have a U1 to a U7 number, right? And the number that they report is a U3 number. That is an unemployment number, but it excludes the people that are furloughed or excludes the people that are disgruntled and stopped looking. And they're reporting right now an unemployment rate of about 7.6%. 7.6%. It was up as high as 13, 14%, and has come down now to 7.5%, 7.6%. So now that's the U3 number. Now, if you look at the U6 number includes pretty much anything. The people are furloughed, people that are disgruntled, that have dropped out of the workforce, includes all that number. That's the true unemployment number, and that's about 12.5%. or to the tune of 17 to 20 million people. Just Google U6 unemployment numbers and you can see on their website their data that shows those numbers. So 17 to 20 million as we have right now that we're seeing in the marketplace, the real number of unemployment. So what does that do when you have those unemployment numbers? Well, what it does is you see things like this. 30% of Americans missed their housing payments in June. You see headlines like this. Almost a third of renters missed this month's payment in July. You see this, mortgage delinquencies caused by the coronavirus will exceed the Great Recession levels according to this forecast. We see other headlines like this, homeowners stop paying mortgages in record numbers. Serious mortgage defaults will increase fourfold by mid-2021 in CoreLogic. So now let's get back to the inventory, right? What's going to happen? What's going to happen in 2021? Now, I personally don't predict a massive market crash just because if you look at these inventory numbers and supply, I believe we're at such historic low numbers right now that what's going to happen is we're going to have an uptick because there's going to be a flood, a tsunami of disgruntled absentee owners that have renters that haven't paid, that as soon as they get the renters out, they're going to turn around and want to sell their property. And I can tell you right now, we get hundreds of leads a day that come into our business right now. And I can tell you a huge percentage of them are disgruntled landlords that have tenants that they can't get out. So we're solving those tenant problems with those landlords and getting smoking deals on the property because we are solving those problems. So let me tell you this, right? That's going to increase. They're going to be able to get those tenants out and then they're going to list those properties on the market and it's going to increase inventory. Then we have all these furloughs where the mortgage payments put onto the back end. There's some people that's going to take advantage of those furloughs and there's some people that are not. And there's some banks that are not even going to recognize those furloughs and they're going to go toward a foreclosure. So you're going to see a lot of landlords that are going to be putting their houses on the market to get out because they're sick of this. They don't want to deal with this anymore. They've been floating 2 and 3 mortgages at a time and they don't want to do it anymore. Now they're going to stick their houses on the market and sell it. So you're going to see inventory increase there. Then you're going to see these foreclosures. That's going to increase inventory in the first, second, third quarter of 2021. So what's it going to do? It's going to take us from 2.5 months supply, and it's going to take us up to 4 to 5 to maybe even 6 months supply, which in my opinion is a stable market. Now, what's going to happen to home prices? We're going to see home prices right here. If you see this, and this is from CoreLogic, we're going to see home prices drop about 6.6% in May 2021. This is the first annual decline since 2012. And here's the reason why we're going to see a decline, because as you bring in more inventory in the market, right, it's going to decrease pricing because there's going to be more available inventory for buyers to choose. Now, we know interest rates are going to stay historically low upwards to 2023, 2024. They're not going to raise those interest rates, especially during this time. But what it's going to do is we're going to bring more inventory in the market. Now, picture this, right? Now I'm going to talk about the business model, and this is all going to come together when it comes to the business model and what we do in day trading properties, because as a real estate investor, the holy grail is distressed properties, deep discount distressed properties. Now, do you think a landlord that hasn't got paid rent for months and months on time, and then all of a sudden, you know, the eviction moratorium is now done and they can actually go through eviction, right? Now they're going to want to put their house on the market. That's a distressed property. They don't want to go fix it up and paint it and clean it up. It might be in a different state. They just want to sell it and get rid of it, right? Same thing with sellers when they're in a foreclosure situation. They're going to want to get rid of their house and move on because they don't want to be evicted out of the property or lose that property. They want to save their credit and save their equity, and you can help them do that in what we do. So what's going to happen is now we're going to have inventory increase slightly. It's going to become more of a stable market. Prices are going to come down, we're going to make them more affordable, and we're going to get into an equilibrium of a normal market, but there's going to be more distressed properties that hit the market, which is perfect for our business model in what we do. Now, here's September. It was a surprise drop in home sales as buyers were priced out. This was literally a couple weeks ago. Priced out of the market. Why? Because pricing, the affordability of these houses is not there anymore. So they're not able to purchase. I mean, interest rates are going to have to go in the 2.5, 2 to 2.5 or 1.5 to 2.5% to become more affordable. So the housing market stalled because buyers are getting priced out of that market. All right, so let's talk about, so now that we've got that out of the way, we talk about what might happen with whoever is the president, right? Right now, currently, as I record this, Vice President-elect Biden has, per the mainstream media, is currently projected to win the presidency. Now, if you look outside of mainstream media and other different sources, President Trump has essentially built a massive legal case on the difference between a legal vote and a not legal vote. So now Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, what else they have? Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona, and potentially Nevada are all going to go back for recounts. And they're going to recount. And they're starting to win some of these lawsuits. Just today, they won where they cannot count any ballots that came in Pennsylvania after 8 o'clock on election night. All those ballots that came in, they're counted 2 and 3 days after. Now, remember, Trump had the lead in Pennsylvania to the tune of 800,000 votes. So if they exclude all those ballots that came in after, could that potentially mean that Trump wins Pennsylvania? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not in the inside. All I know is what I'm looking at from one side of the media saying, hey, there is no fraud. And the other side of the media goes, what are you kidding me? We have 250 affidavits. We have whistleblowers from the USPS saying they backdated things. So you have one whole side that's saying one thing and the other whole side that's saying the other thing, right? So as I stand right here, I have no idea, as everything unfolds, who's going to be the president on January 20th on Inauguration Day. But we got to look at, from a real estate perspective, what's that do financially for us in the meantime? Well, let's look at it right here. And I looked at both different tax plans. Biden is to raise taxes from 37% to 39.6%. Long-term capital gains, this is a huge hit from 20% to 39.6%. So what's long-term capital gains? That means if you own a piece of real estate, you own a house, an investment property, and you own it for a year and a day, it's called long-term capital gains. Well, instead of paying a 20% tax to the government, now you're going to pay 19.6% more tax to the government on that particular property. Now, we do apartments, right? Well, we do apartments, and we can use something called a 1031 exchange to defer taxes. Well, guess what? He's looking at terminating the 1031 exchange, which is devastating for real estate investors. It's in my opinion, that is massively, massively devastating. Payroll taxes will raise to 1.5%. Itemized deductions will be eliminated, meaning itemized deductions meaning any charitable donations you do, miscellaneous expenses you have, property taxes, medical bills, mortgage interest. Those are all considered itemized deductions on your plan. So what happens is you can take those off that will reduce your overall income, right? So imagine you can't reduce your overall income on itemized deductions, and you still have to pay a 39.6% tax on top of that. So the death tax will be reestablished under the Trump plan. There is no death tax. With the Biden plan, they will reestablish the death tax. That means if someone owns, $10 million worth of land or apartments or buildings and they die, they have to liquidate that to pay 50% of that, roughly 50%, to the government. So they have to liquidate those assets, and it puts the families in very tough situations to try to liquidate land. And it's mostly hit the farmers pretty hard because they have hundreds of acres. They have to valuate the land, and all of a sudden, bam, they get hit with a $10 million, $20 million, $30 million tax bill, and they're forced to liquidate those assets to pay that tax bill. In a farm or acreage that's been in their family for years and years. So there's a lot of things that potentially can impact us as real estate investors when it comes to Biden versus Trump candidacy. So either way, the bottom line is, what is the best business model? In either case, if it's Biden, you're just going to have to make more money, period. You'll just have to make more money. So what's the best business model during the real estate default tsunami? So I'm going to get into it right now. I'm going to talk about the business model, what we're doing, how we're doing it. And I want to relate it to what's called stock option trading. Now, if you've ever bought stocks, traded stocks, and there's investing in stocks like through a 401k, and you're buying and holding those stocks for a while, right? And if you sell those stocks, that's a long-term capital gain, and you're going to get hit by taxes to the tune of 39%, or what is it? It's 39.6%. But if you can hold those stocks, you can hold them in a tax-free environment or tax-deferred environment if you choose. Traders, what they do is they trade stocks. They're in and out of stocks quickly. They either day trade stocks in and out, or they swing trade stocks. So they're going to be in and out of a stock over a course of a time, 3, 5, 7 days, a week, 2 weeks, or multiple months. So they're going to buy in a stock, and then they're going to be out of a stock, and they want to get it low and then turn around it. So if you look at this chart right here, you see the green arrows. That's when they're in, and then a couple days later they're out. This is a swing trading where you're in and you're out. Now, this right here is a stock chart of Intuit. Intuit is a software company. They have earnings that are coming up here on the November 19th. So I bought stock options in Intuit for the hopes that it will rise prior to the earnings, and I'll sell those options. It's the exact same thing we do in real estate. You buy it low, right? Or you contract it low, and then you can turn around and you can sell it high, just like an option. If I buy this stock option, right, and the stock essentially, I think it was at, I don't even know what it is, 300 something. I gotta look. I can't even remember what the stock price is, but stock price is on Intuit, it's like $349. So if you buy options, you can buy 100 contracts of an option, and they have a price on that option, what's called a premium on that option. And you can get that, and you can lock in a potential, that option, the right to purchase, but you're not obligated to purchase the stock. That means you control the stock. You have a right, but not the obligation to purchase it for a certain period of time. It might be 30, 60, 90 days. Exactly what we do in real estate. Exactly. This contract essentially is it's like a right to buy, but not an obligation to buy, because you have what's called out clauses. You have a 30-day inspection period. So what we do is what's called day trading houses nationally. It's actually swing trading, because it takes 7, 10, 15, 30 days from start to finish to close a deal. So it's almost exactly like day trading or swing trading. But what we do is we do it with these contracts. It gives us the right, but not the obligation to purchase the property. It gives us controlling interest in the property. For an example, if we get a property for $50,000 and we sell this contract, we sell it for $10,000 to a buyer, now he's in the property for 60 grand. We sell that option to him for 60 grand. So it's the exact same thing with stocks. If I control this option on Intuit and the stock goes from say 349 to 365 prior to earnings, I can now sell my option, the right to buy, for a higher price than I actually contracted it for. It's exactly in real estate. You can get a property under contract for $50,000 and you can sell that option to a buyer that would love that, that would buy that, that would sign that contract to them, and now they'll close on that deal and they'll buy that property at a deep discount. Now, stocks, it's very difficult. I can't buy a $350,000 stock for $175,000 today. I can't do it, right? Because you can't, that's insider trading. You can't do it. Housing, you can. I can buy a $350,000 house today. I can contract a $350,000 house today for $175,000, right? What if I have a seller that calls me up off our marketing, what I'm about to show you, and says, hey, I want to sell this house for $175,000, and we say, okay. And we contract it for $175,000. I can sell that option for 50 grand. I can sell that contract for 60 grand. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now, the great thing about doing this is you don't need a real estate license to do it. You don't have to have a real estate license. And it can be done anywhere in the United States. The only place you cannot essentially day trade houses or wholesale houses is in Illinois. We stay out of Illinois. They can't do it. You have to have a real estate license, physically have a real estate license to be able to do it. So we stay out of Illinois and we don't do it in Illinois. Now, let's talk about distressed houses in a normal market. A normal market, right? Most distressed houses, there's about 5%. Now, nationally, that's tens of millions of properties that are distressed, right? The majority of the people out there are going to sell their house with a realtor. Majority people. About 5% are distressed. They don't want to sell with a realtor. They don't want to fix it up. Maybe the house is trash. Maybe they inherited it. Maybe it's a fire damaged property. Maybe they are in foreclosure. They need to sell it quickly. Maybe they're in a divorce situation. Whatever it might be, we've heard it all, right? They're in a situation where they don't have the time to sell the property, the money to fix up the property, to make it look pretty and stage it, make it look pretty like we see on HDTV. They don't have the time for that. They just need to sell it and sell it now. And you see this where a lot, 20 million people, 17 million people out in unemployment, they need cash now. They want to get this done quick, and they don't want to have to spend money to make it look pretty and paint this and make this. They want to sell it and sell it now. Now, during this real estate default tsunami, and what we're seeing right now in the marketplace, we're seeing a massive increase, 3 times the amount of sellers are calling us and coming into our business right now are distressed properties in distressed situation. We're seeing an influx of landlords calling us right now that have tenants that haven't paid and they can't pay the mortgage anymore and float that property. An influx. We're seeing inherited properties come in, properties that have been sitting around vacant for a long time, and now they want to turn that into cash because they want to save that cash and they want to turn it into cash. Wait, we're going to see a lot of foreclosures hit the market as soon as they lift that moratorium. It's going to happen. We're going to see more foreclosures come into the market. So we're seeing an influx. And what's going to happen during this real estate default tsunami, the wave have already started happening. It's going to hit the marketplace. And see, COVID-19, when you have a tsunami, you have an earthquake. And then what happens? Nothing happens. If it happens in the middle of the ocean, and then all of a sudden a swell comes up and it crushes the city. COVID-19 was the earthquake, and right now we're in this swelling period where all this is building up, these foreclosures and these evictions and these unemployment numbers and stuff like that. And eventually, we all know it, we can feel it inside, it's gonna hit the marketplace and something's gonna happen, and we're gonna see a massive amount increase in distressed properties. And we wanna position ourselves to be right there. Now, what's gonna happen, you get that property right here under contract for $50,000. You have you control that property, controlling interest, the right but not the obligation. Then you turn around and you sell that property for $10,000. Guess what? You'll get a check in your name for the $10,000 for turning around and selling that piece of paper, selling the contract, and assign the contract, selling it. How many times can you do that in a month? What if you do one a month? That's $120,000 a year working for yourself, right? It's going to put you in that higher tax bracket, right? But what if you do 2 a year? That's 200, you do one a month for a year. You do 12 a year, right? Let me get my numbers right. One a month, 12 a year, that's $120,000. 2 a month for a year is $240,000. Do you think that make a difference in your life? It's amazing. All right, so now, how do we find these distressed properties? How do we find these distressed properties? Now, I'm gonna give you 2 marketing strategies. I'm gonna blow through this. I got a ton of stuff to cover still. I'm gonna blow through this, but 2 marketing strategies on how to find distressed sellers. The first one is what's called Google AdWords. And let me show you real quick. I'm gonna take you to my computer. And I'm on Google right here. I'm gonna go sell house fast. So I go sell house fast, and see we have this right here. This is an ad. See it says ad right here? Ad, 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 ad. These are all ads. So these people have paid for their ad to show up right here. Okay, so now let's see if I click on this one, or if I click on this one right here. This is sell your house fast. What if I sell, I'll do fast offer key. See what that. So I click there, and look at that. It lands on a page, right? Has a phone number, and they type in the address, name, email address, phone number, get my offer. So this lead comes in 2 different ways. It comes in by a call, or it comes in by someone filling out a form and pressing get my offer. Right? A real simple process. Go to video, testimonials, easy, right? So all you do is, this is it. This is a lead generation website that will generate leads 24/7. They'll either call in or they'll submit an offer, right? And all they did was type in this in. Now, people type in this at 2 o'clock in the morning, they type in at 1 o'clock in the morning, they type in it in the afternoon. So this right here is an incredible marketing strategy. Let me show you what a campaign looks like. I'm gonna take you, this is inside my campaign, right? We're spending right now about $2,000 a day. We're getting roughly of about 100 to 150 leads a day. And if I press this right here, look at this is a budget stimulator. I could spend up to $112,000 a day if you want and get thousands and thousands of leads a day if I wanted to. The scalability is insane. Now look at this right here. This is off one campaign, 208,000 right here if you see that. And that is about 8,472 leads that have come into the business, $24 cost per lead with about a 17% conversion. So this is an actual campaign, a national campaign that we've run, and these are some of the numbers, but look at the scalability. Look at the scalability, it's insane. You can just continue. So what we're doing is we're hiring more people. I just hired 2 more people part of the business. I hired this rock star that's gonna crush, that's gonna help build our team right now, and it's amazing. So the bottom line, AdWords is a great way to generate leads 24/7, and sellers actually reach out to you, and you know what you can ask these sellers? This one question which is why I love this, is what would you like to get for your property? What would you like to get for your property? And guess what? We've had sellers say, we got a property in Santa Barbara. The seller said, hey, what would you like to get for the property? He said $550,000. We said, what if we give you $540,000? Gave him $540,000, gave him exactly what he wanted for the property, turned around and sold the properties for $740,000, made $192,000 on that deal, right? It happens. You have sellers that call you. I have never seen where spreads are so big, day trading properties, than this particular marketing method. Now, what works great is these small little markets across the country. We don't target Dallas, but we target small little markets. We're looking for small markets with 20, 30, 40,000 population, an hour and a half from a major market. And look at this one. This is Waco, Texas, right? Waco, Texas, it's about an hour and 35 minutes. Great little market, 138,000 population, and 57 flippers. Now, notate that. I'm going to tell you what a flipper is in a second. It's a key metric that we look at to determine if a market is viable or not, which is critically important. So stay tuned on what flippers are. Notate that, write it down. I'm going to show you what those are here in a second. Now, I'm going to talk about how to find the hottest lists. How to find the hottest lists. Now, if I go back and if I look at lists, right, and I go here, we use what's called reiautomator.com, reiautomator.com. And if you go up here, what this does, it gives you, this is the best software. This is the only software we use for lists, for skip tracing, to manage our lists that we have. So if I go in here and I go, let's say Waco, Texas, searched it earlier, and I go through here and I can go through and I can pull all sorts of distress lists. So let me go on here and look at it real quick. And I go say, okay, I want to go through tax delinquent properties. These are properties that haven't paid their property taxes. And I want to say that they're not owner occupant, right? And I want to also say that they're vacant. So this is a super hot list. Vacant properties that are tax delinquent that a non-owner occupant owns. Non-owner. Now, if you want to make the list bigger, just click here and you get a little bit bigger, but here you go, right? These are non-owner occupant, right? And you can go through in more details on this, but this is a great list. Now, these 122 people, you can skip trace them, you can call them, or what we do is we send them a direct mail piece, right? We send them a direct mail piece, right? Here's these lists right here. And we'll send them, that's our mailing list that we target. And I send them essentially a direct mail piece, a postcard, a simple, cheap postcard. These postcards you can send out for cheap and you'll get these sellers to call. So what we're doing is we're pulling these lists, these highly targeted, highly motivated, small lists in these small little markets all across the country, and we're mailing these lists and leads are coming in with sellers that have multiple layers of distress. Now, here's the problem. In Phoenix, I used to mail 100,000 mailers a month, and I would have to go really wide on the mailers. I'd hit certain owner occupants, absentee owners, and I would have to have a list of 100,000 people on a list. And what happens is not all of them were hyper motivated or distressed. But now with a national model, in our model that we're doing, and we're staying out of competitive markets, so our response rates are through the roof, we can target all these small little markets that we're finding, and we can drop highly distressed mail. Calls can come in, our phone blows up, and we're signing deals left and right, which is amazing. Now let me go back here. Let's talk about how to find buyers, and I'm going to go back to flippers here real quick and show you what that is. So if I go back here to REI Automator, I'm going to clear this list real quick, right? And I'm going to go back to Waco, Texas, and I want to look in here, right? Now, how do you find buyers? So let's say I get a property in Waco, Texas, and it's a distressed property. I sign a contract on it. Now, I'm going to show you our 8-step model that we do this, and we sign deals over the phone. But I'm going to show you this, but I'm going to show you how we can talk to them over the phone, get the property under contract. Now we find buyers for the property. And what we do is we go here first. This is the first place. We go here. I click on this right here. And I go down to what's called, now look at, they have zombie properties. I go flippers, right? 57 flippers here. So what is a flipper? Now, if I go in, let me look at on here some. Let me look at this one, Maple Street. So here's a flipper. It was purchased cash. It was a cash sale. It was purchased, then it's listed on the market. Here's the MLS details, listed on the market. And what it does, it gives us the agent name and it gives us the agent telephone number. So what we're doing is we're sending a text message out, and I'm going to show you the platform we're using to send text messages out. It's amazing. We send text messages out to agents saying, hey, do you have buyers in Waco? And guess what? We're setting up the agents to go look at the properties with their buyers, and we're selling properties in any market across the country in days, as long as they're good deals, using these particular lists. And we have a 5-step process to find buyers. This is one of our steps that we use, but we can pretty much sell any property, any good deal across any market, across any city, across the country, using these tools that we're about to talk about. So that is that, finding buyers. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about the ultimate business model, day trading properties. And I'm going to give you right now the essentially the 8-step process, to day trading houses nationally across the country. Now, and I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through each one specifically. We're going to select the best state. Then we're going to find the small market. Then we're going to use the 2 best marketing methods. I kind of covered some of that. I'm also going to make a strategic offer over the phone. There's a 4-step process to making offers over the phone. Then we're going to find the best closing agent. I'm going to give you the ones we use. I'm going to talk about how to get floods of buyers to the property, our 5-step process. Then how to get the buyer to sign the contract, right? How do we negotiate and create that frenzy, right? And how to get paid using these 2 funding strategies. So we've got a lot to cover. Now remember, day trading houses, this business model, there's no funding needed. No funding. You don't need transactional funding. You don't need funding to buy the property. No cash needed to buy or fix the property. There's no down payment needed to do what I am telling you. You don't need cash. The only thing you need is money for marketing. And there's free, F-R-E-E, free ways, there's cheap ways, and there's paid ways to generate find distressed houses. There's cheap way, free way, and paid ways to do it. So don't let that discourage you from getting started. You go, oh my gosh, I don't have money for down payments. I don't have good credit. Look at, you never get your credit checked. You never get your credit checked. Can be done on a part-time basis, right? Can be done on a part-time basis. Profit can come very quickly. You don't have to wait for appreciation or rents to increase or anything like that, or wait 90 to 120 days to fix up a property and turn around and sell it. This can be done in 7, 10, 14, 20, 30 days on average is what we do. Profit can come quickly. Business can be done from anywhere in the world. Literally, you can do this from anywhere in the world. We have people from Australia that are doing deals in the United States, Canada doing deals in the United States. We have people from Israel doing deals in the United States. Business can be done, business can be successful in up and down markets. It doesn't matter if the market's on fire or if the market sucks. It doesn't matter if it's 2008 with lots of inventory or right now with little inventory. Reduce risk for failure by paying for speed. Something like this, you know, instead of trying to figure out, that's why we're showing you exactly what to do. Business can be scaled to unlimited income, right? Think about it. If you want to make $1 million a year, or you want to make $1 million a month, this can be done in this business. Business can be started with minimal capital. Now, I'm going to give you an important disclaimer, and I want you to understand this real quick because I don't want any idea that I'm trying to persuade you about showing you other people's incomes and what other people have done because they worked hard and they busted their butt. But important, all incomes that you hear about are real and verified. However, incomes represent some of the most successful participants, and the majority of individuals earn less, or you know what, they don't make anything at all because they don't do anything. They get started and they go, oh, and they don't put in the effort and energy. These figures should not be considered as guarantees or projections of your actual earnings or profit. It's understood that your success is predicated on your effort, which requires hard work, desire, and diligence, right? So I want to show you what some other people have done. Well, obviously this is proof of what I've done. I show you this in the beginning slide here, but this is $775,000 doing exactly this 8-step business model. And like I said, I'm going to go through each one of the details for you. But these are some of the wires: 148, 25, 120,000, 23, 14,000, 25, 440, 27,000, 17,000, 100,000, 39,000, 60,000, 11,000, 159. These are wires coming into the account. It's amazing. Here's another one right here from Sis. I'm almost 1 year into real estate investing. I'm just shy of making $100,000 in wholesale fees my first year. Acquired 2 cash flow properties debt-free while pregnant with my 5th child and my youngest being 1 year old. Oh, and I planned a dope-ass real estate conference at the same time. Well, you look at her. It's awesome. Shout out to Sean Terry for providing this invaluable, life-changing information. Congratulations, sis. You are I don't know if I could do it with 5 kids, 1 on the way and 1 under 1 year. There's no way. Anwar, here's a great one. This one right here, quick motivation for anyone still looking to do their first deal. One of the easiest wholesale deals I've ever done between a few texts, conversation. All in all, this deal took roughly 5 hours from contract to close, $13,148 an hour. That's more than attorneys make, more than doctors make, more than most people make. So I appreciate that. That's his check for $65,741. Here's another one, great one. This is Chelsea. Chelsea, obviously, on the call right now. She's in there answering chat. Here's another great check right here from Corey. Here's another one right here. It says, hey there, to Flip to Freedom, Chelsea, to Chelsea Falls. I know it's been a while, but I'm circling back to say thank you to Sean Terry. Again, last week I closed on a lot and I purchased 2 months ago for $17,000, sold for $75,000. That's pretty cool. Big check. And let's hear some of these videos.
But holy crap, man. I got so much information from you, which launched my business. I literally just closed my first deal last week. I'll tell you about it. And I made $35,000. And I have to attribute my success to hard work, to pushing through fear, and the information that I got from you, man. Like, holy crap. Thank you. So I got this deal by way of door knocking, and I was in kind of like a financial bind. I was Ubering during the day, working on my business, Ubering during the morning, working on my business during the afternoon, and then Ubering at night, like on the super hustle. So I gathered and mustered up all the little courage I had inside, and I made a list, and I knocked on the door, and then the owner came, and I just was myself, and I would just let him know, listen, I'm here to help you. And next thing you know, I had that bad boy under contract, and I freaked out, and I was like, oh my God, what's next? Like, I forgot all my training. What do I do? And then I had that thing under contract literally in about less than a day. And the buyer was amazing. And don't get me wrong, the starting point to the ending point to the closing was like being locked in a dryer on high. Okay, I was going down a hill wearing skates and speed bumps along the way. Okay, because I was getting beat up. But I have learned so very much along the way, that I'm extremely grateful for. So this will be almost a $40,000 month for me, and there is no way I will have another month that is not equal or better. So thank you so much, Sean. You the man. I know we're going to meet one day, and I look forward to it. And I just wanted you to know that I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much for all that you do. Keep it going. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Bye.
Hi, my name is Misha. I am the owner of Breaking Boundaries Investments. I bought the Flip to Freedom program in February of this year, and I got my first deal around May of this year, and I really just been taking off ever since then. The program was extremely easy. Sean Terry broke everything down to a way that I can understand it. I really didn't understand wholesaling in the beginning, so it was amazing to have someone to actually be able to sit you down and kind of break down the basics of wholesaling. I really loved his seller course. It kind of gave me an outlook on how to verbally speak with sellers as far as their different type of situation and the different type of ways I can acquire the properties, but also at the same time help them out. I suggest anybody that don't have that much in funds, I really suggest that you get the Flip to Freedom program, because it literally changed my business and my life. Just because you don't get that for that type of price nowhere, period, point blank, period. Like literally, all of his negotiation techniques I still use his being able to read personality types and things like that. Like I still use all of that to this day. I still use different course materials and things like that. It really just kind of got me on the right track. So anybody that's thinking about getting the program, I can promise you 100% that it's worth every penny.
Hey, this is Russell Walker from Chicago, Illinois. Just wanted to do a testimonial for Sean Terry. Got started in wholesaling real estate about eight years ago, and it started from one of his books, actually, and his free podcast. I did a couple deals just from listening to his podcast, reading his book, and 8 years later, I still study his courses. I still listen to his podcast. I still have, buy his new courses that he has, and we do about 20 transactions a month in the Chicago, Illinois area. And you can check us out, Best Chicago Wholesale Deals in the Chicago area. And I just want to thank Sean T for his motivation. The mindset thing was probably the biggest thing. Listening to his podcast was huge in order to get where I'm at today. So I appreciate you, Sean T. Sean Terry, thank you for everything you provided, and I can't thank you enough for everything, man. Thank you. God bless.
All right, so let's get into what these guys are doing, what we've done to go out and do it. I've got to go through this real quick because I am talking too much. I know I'm covering a bunch of information, but I'm going to get into the concrete details right now. Explain that. All right, so let's get into it. Step one. First off, we want to select the best state, and that is by rent to value ratio, appreciation, cash buyer activity. We want to pick the best state, and then within that best state, we want to pick the major market within that state, right? The major market within that state. So I'm just going to give you the top 9 major markets that are crushing right now. Now, we're not doing deals in these major markets. We're doing deals around these major markets. But these markets are crushing, and around these major markets right here is where we want to do the business. Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, Miami, Atlanta, Tampa, Austin, Orlando, Nashville. So outside of Orlando, we've done deals, right? Outside of Tampa, we've done deals. Outside of Houston, outside of Miami, we've done deals. All these are markets outside of that area. Melbourne, I think it was Melbourne, Florida, we've done deals. All right, so what do is we pick a small market outside of a major market. So you can see on here, Dallas, Fort Worth is the #1 of the cash buyer, activity, appreciation, rent value ratio. So a lot of investors are going into those areas, but what happens is they're not finding deals. So what they're doing is moving outside to other markets, smaller markets outside of the major markets. So if you see this one right here, it's an hour and 35 minutes from Dallas, 138.183 population, and 57 flippers in that particular market. That's a key metric we look at to determine if those small markets are viable or not. Population's important, location to major market, and how many flippers they have, how many potential buyers do we have to basically sell those properties. That's step number 2. Now, think about this. I want you to Google how many cities in America have populations of 50,000 that are close to within an hour of a major market. You'll get a list of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. So when it comes to competition and people ask me, why would you teach this stuff? Why would you share this stuff? You don't really do this. You're making money teaching this. Well, listen, I don't believe in competition. I have an abundant mentality. That means that I believe that there's more than enough in this world. There's more than enough. And especially of all the deals across the country, there is more than enough. So that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I know it'll make an impact in your life. And also I know there's a small percentage of you listening right now that's actually going to do something, right? And I hope to God that you're one of them, that you're listening and you embrace this business model and it does change your life and you do go out there and crush it like these other people have, like I have, because you can do it. The bottom line is a lot of people don't put forth the energy and effort and work. If you do, it literally can change your life. Now, we talked about the marketing strategies, PPC advertising, which is Google, strategic direct mail. Now let's talk about the 4 steps. So what happens is, let's say we turn around, we say Dallas, and then we go, okay, we want to do Waco, Texas. And we're going to pull lists, and we're going to pull like a direct mail list in Waco, Texas, and we're going to target like that direct mail of tax delinquent properties that are vacant properties. And we saw in there is about 120, 130. And we can send them a direct mail place. We can text them. We can cold call them, whatever the case. Those are cheap ways to get in front of people. But let's say we pick that market, and then we talk to a seller. A seller calls in from our marketing, they call in from a postcard, and we talk to that seller. What do we say? What do we do? Well, there's a 4-step process that we do. Step 1 is we do a deep dive on the property. We find out everything about the seller, what their situation is, what their motivation is, and a lot about the property, the condition of the property, all the way down from the roof condition, interior condition, when it was last remodeled, about the landscaping, the exterior. Is there anything that the seller will disclose that will impact the value of the property? Is there a slab crack for some reason? Is there a hole in the roof? Is there leaks somewhere that's going to impact the value of the property? We want to know everything about the property so we can make a logical offer to the seller. So once we gather all that information from the seller, there's 2 important keys information that we want to obtain from the seller in that deep dive. We want to understand the first asking price, and we want to understand the second asking price. The second asking price is the most important, but when we initially get on the call and we're talking to a seller, we're going to ask them to say, hey, what would you like to get for your property? What are you asking for your property? And they're going to say $150,000. Then you're going to get into the motivation. Then you're going to get into the condition. You're going to find out about the roof and the slab leak and this and that and the other. It has been updated since 1961. Carpets, the same carpet since 1961, right? They have a septic issue and all this type of stuff. And you say, great. Let's say we take care of all those repairs, Mr. Seller. We take care of the roof. We take care of the septic. We inherit all those problems to the tune of maybe $30,000, $40,000 of renovations to get your property up. What's the minimum cash you would take for the property, assuming you don't have to pay any commissions or closing costs or fees, and you don't have to pay all those fix up. What's the minimum cash you'd take for the property? That is setting for the second asking price. You got the first, you got the second. You'll see a drop between the first and the second. And what's going to happen is now, once we get the second asking price, and you'll see that drop, then you go for the set. And what we're going to do is we're going to set them back to get back on the phone in about 45 minutes. And then we do a set. It's going to be the same day, and it's going to be with a matter of 30 to 45 minutes to get them back on the phone. Then what we're going to do is do research. I'm going to say, okay, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm going to go to bat for you. Yeah, I know you gave me your price. I'm going to look at the comparable sales. I'm going to talk to my underwriter. I'm going to talk to my partner. I'm going to try to figure out exactly the highest and best offer we can get for you. I'm going to go to bat for you and see what I can do. Then what's going to happen is you're going to do a set. Then you're going to get back. You're going to do the research, and you're going to do the doc prep. You're going to get your contract together. You're going to set it up in DocuSign, and you're going to be prepared and ready to get that contract signed right there on the spot, okay? Then what's going to happen is you're going to get back on the phone 30, 45 minutes later. You're going to talk to the seller and say, oh my gosh, I went to bat for you, talk to the underwriter. I can't give you $150, and I know you said you wanted $120 cash and everything like that, but listen, I can get you $109,000 and $109,450 for this property. Remember, we're going to inherit all the repairs that need to be done to the tune of $30,000. You don't have to pay cash, you don't have to pay commissions, closing costs, or fees. We're going to take care of all of that. And you can pick your closing date. You can pick the price. Obviously, you got the $109,000 for the property. So we're going to take care of all that and give you certainty that we can get this deal done. So when would you like to close? Would you like to close on Friday the 12th or Monday the 15th? Which would be better for you? And then you shut up. That's called a closing question, right? And our guys are trained to do this. This is what they do every day. And what happens is we're getting contracts every single day as leads are coming in. And they get a contract, and it's a close. Now, a couple things are going to happen. Either A, they're going to go, and they're going to give you a rebuttal, or what's called an objection. Well, guess what? There are 16 objections that we know how to overcome. I want to think about it. I got to have my friend look at it. I have another investor that wants to come look at it. Your price is too low. Those are objections that we can overcome. Once we overcome an objection, we get to the root number of where exactly they need to be. There's going to be a gap. You gave them 109. They want to get 115. You close that gap. You get the contract signed. And that's what we do. And that's what we teach. That's my team, my staff, and that's what we do. But I show exactly how to get that and work with the seller to get those contracts signed and get them done. Now, once we get it signed, we have a contract. Yes, we did it. We got our contract. We're excited, right? You got your contract signed. You got your contract. You got your basically obligation, non-obligation. You got your signed and the obligation to get it done, right? You're excited. What do you do? Well, you got to figure out, okay, well, listen, I gotta get this closed. I got to get someone to pull all the paperwork and all the documents and pull the payoffs and get all that information, right? And I got to find a buyer for the property. Well, step 6 is you want to pick a closing company. You send the docs over to the closing company. They're not going to pull title right away. They're going to make sure you have your buyer all lined up before they do that, but they're going to hold that file and get it ready for you. You want to make sure you get all your payoff, all the information about the property, make it as easy as possible for your closing agent to work with. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to find cash buyers. First thing we're going to do is go to REI Automator and find the flippers just like I showed you. If we exhaust the flippers, then we're going to go to, on here, we're going to go to Realtor.com and we're going to locate agents that represent cash buyers. We have a specific technique. We go into Realtor.com. We can pull the top agents in a market that represent buyers, and they in any market across the country, and they bring us buyers by the droves. Then we're going to go in. Let me go back in here to REI Automator. Check this out. I can go to Waco, Texas. I can go here. I can get rid of the flippers. I can go down here and go bam on one click. I can go cash buyers. And there's 7,000 cash buyers in the market. Now, if I want to go ownership info, I want to say, let me see. Number of properties owned. I want to make sure that they have a minimum of 5 properties owned. There's 4,000 buyers in Waco, Texas that have a minimum of 5 properties they own. Do you think they might want one more? Well, what I could do is I could take this right here. I can close this. I can turn around. I can add those to a list. I can add them to a list. Then I go over here. Bam. I want to skip trace them. I can select the contacts. I can skip trace them. And I can have them right out here. And then if I want to turn around and send them a postcard about it, I can. Or can I export them? And I can text these buyers, and we use this platform right here called Smarter Contact, and I'll import them in here, and we'll turn around and we'll send a text to these buyers, and then they'll respond, right? They'll respond in these texts, and we have a conversation with these buyers, and it's what we do is we get them right on the phone, and we schedule them to go see the property. We have 2 schedulers that go through, and all they do all day long is schedule showings on our properties to get them sold. Now, as soon as they see the property, then they talk to our disposition manager, and he'll negotiate the deal, get that property sold for the highest price possible. We'll get that property under contract. They'll send it over to the title company, and we'll close that transaction. It is a well-oiled system that we have here. Now, next thing, it was range of showing with a buyer. We typically set up with the sellers a 30-minute open house. We'll get 3, 4, 5, 6 people over that house during that 30-minute time because we're texting these sellers. We're texting, think about it, 3,000, 4,000 sellers at a time, buyers at a time, or agents at a time. And we're turning around and we're getting them over 3, 4, 5 people at the house at one time. And the way you position the seller and the buyer to go see those properties, that's another whole conversation. I'll leave that for later. It's incredibly important. The bottom line is we create this frenzy, and now we have a bidding war on the properties. And that's how we can drive these property prices up so dramatically. Last thing is funding. What we do, this is 8 funding. We do double escrow or assignment, and this is an assignment agreement. And what we do is we sell our contract for a fee. Now, imagine doing deals all across the country. Imagine having the freedom to do what you want with who you want. Imagine using this system to go out and do deals everywhere. You can do it from anywhere in the world. There's no restrictions. Most of my team works remote. They work from home. They do deals all across. We come and we meet every Monday morning meeting, and the guys that work remote out of state or out of Arizona, we meet via Zoom. We bring them on, we come in, we do a Zoom meeting, we bring everybody together, and bam, we meet. Because of this whole COVID-19 thing and everyone working remote, it has literally been able to open up where you don't have to have an office. You don't have to have brick and mortar, which will save you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year and a lot of headache because everybody can work remote. It's amazing. Now, imagine you successfully completing an average of 1 to 3 deals a month working completely remote, right? 1 to 3 deals a month. What if your average deal was, say, $10,000? That's $10,000 to $30,000 a month working remote doing this. Talking to the sellers, leads call in, you talk to them, make an offer, get a contract, find a buyer. It's simple. It just takes energy and effort to get good at this. Once you get good at this, money will never be a problem for you ever again. I can tell you that right now. Now, imagine running a full-time operation like I do and do 5 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 50 deals a month nationally all across the country. I have a whole disposition team. I have an acquisition team. We're hiring more people like crazy, and we're stacking the deck, and we're pressing on the marketing. And our goal is to do $1 million a month in revenue, and we're close. We're close. $1 million a month in revenue, $12 million a year, and that's not stopping. That's just the beginning of what is possible. Now, remember, no experience needed. You don't have to have experience in real estate, understand comps, understand pricing. No credit check ever, no funding to purchase real estate, no funding for reservation, no contractors needed, no real estate license needed, no need to meet a seller face-to-face, it's all done over the phone, no need to look at properties, no technical computer skills, no need for traditional brick and mortar, can be done part-time or full-time, you can do it around your job, profit can come quickly, business can be done from anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter if it's a robust market, it doesn't matter if it's a down market. You can reduce the risk of failure by learning from someone like me that's already doing it all day, every day, and teach you exactly what it's done. There's not many people teaching what we do. Business can be scaled for unlimited income. Business can be started with minimal capital. I put together the ultimate training system showing exactly what we do. Now, come to me real quick, Chris. Is that there's a lot of educators out there. Lots. All you got to go on YouTube and just say this video or this guru or that guru talking about what they do and how they do it. Okay? There's not many that actually do real estate. Not many do real estate. They actually teach, but they don't do. Or they have a family member that do the business, but they don't do the business. They used to do the business months or years or 6 years ago, and now they're doing education. I can tell you right now, and I'll look you dead in the eye, I do real estate deals and manage a team of real estate and build a company and manage leads all day, every day. That's what I do. That's my main source of income. This is my passion. I love teaching. That's why I teach what I do, and I have an abundance mentality. I'm not worried about whether you and I trip over deals. I'm not worried about that. I've been doing and teaching and educating long enough. And the more I give, the more I educate, the more I help people, the more I put out good, the more success that I have. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. So the bottom line is this, is that I have put together the most comprehensive training course breaking down these steps in detail. It's called Remote Millions 2.0, and it goes in detail explaining every facet of the business. And I just updated it. You learn cutting edge strategies to confidently do 1 to 2 deals a month using none of your own cash or credit. It's a 4-week immersion masterclass in the highest quality, cutting edge video, audio, training, all the contracts, everything you need to go out there and crush it. Now, we're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna go break each week, I'll talk about how to find the right city, how to find the right state, how to find distressed sellers, how to set up the marketing, what lists you pull, what the best postcard is, how to do the skip tracing, how to talk to sellers, how to make an offer. I actually give you seller recorded calls of us talking to sellers. We recorded it and put it into the training so you can hear what we say and how we get deals. Right now. We'll show you exactly how. You can listen and go, oh my gosh, that's how it's done. It's amazing. We're going to talk about selling your property in lightning speed, how to, what to say, what to text. I give you examples. This is the most detailed, cutting edge course in the marketplace today. It retails for $997. Remote Millions 2.0 retails for $997. I also will throw in the activation fee, the software activation fee. It's $897. And 1 month access to REI Automators, that software where we pull the flippers. Once you start using it, you'll absolutely love it. It becomes a must-have type of thing. So you get the Remote Millions course with me. I teach the information. It's no one else. I'm the one that's teaching it. Plus you get the REI Automator, $897 plus the 1 month. That's a $19.91 value. Plus I get on support calls with you every other week, right? I just did one just a couple days ago. Every other Wednesday I get on, and I get on our private members only Facebook group, and I get on there and answer questions. I talk about what's going on in the market. I talk about what's happening with this, the whole election stuff happening, what you should prepare for. And then I answer questions, deal-specific questions that people have. That's a $29.97 value. Been doing it for years, and I love it. That's a $4,998 value. So here's the thing. It's not $29.97, which a lot of people would charge. It's not $19.97. It's $9.97 or a 3-pay of $379. But hold on. I am going to give you a 50% for a limited time. We have a limited amount of people, limited time, 50% off coupon. If you go to getremotemillions.com, getremotemillions.com, use the coupon code REMOTE50. You'll get 50% off, and it's not $29.97, it's not $19.97, it's not even $9.97. It's $498.50 or $197 on a 3-pay, right? I want to make it affordable because I want to make no excuse for you. No excuses, right? None. Where you're going, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I don't know. No excuses. So here's the thing. You got a couple choices, right? How much time and money will you lose by trying to figure out a marketing campaign that works? Not knowing what to say a seller. What if you get a seller on the line, it's a $148,000 deal, and you don't know what to say, and you screw it up? How much time and money will it cost you? Not knowing what to offer, how to calculate repairs and do it correctly. Not selling for the highest price possible, right? You're leaving money on the table. Being unorganized and losing deals, trusting the wrong people that you're talking to, getting deals stolen from you, structuring the wrong deal with your partners, paying the realtors and how much you pay them and what should you do, valuing the property wrong. I've seen that, where people go, they value it wrong and they literally lose out on the deal, not knowing how to get paid, not knowing how to talk to the title company, not knowing what to say, trying to figure it out themselves. There is nothing more expensive than missed opportunity. Deals will come to you. Deals will start working and they come across your table and they could be $100,000 deals, $50,000 deals, $10,000, $5,000 deals. But if you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you don't know what process to bring them through in the 8-step process, then you're going to lose out, right? And that deal's going to go to someone else that is prepared. Now, I'm also going to give you 2 tickets to our Extreme Freedom. It's the end of January 2021. It's going to be a virtual/live event. And this will give you 2 tickets. You got to book your room and your air to redeem the tickets, or if you choose, you can do a virtual tickets. That's a $5,382 value, and I'm not done yet. You get a full 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied. If you absolutely don't love it, then please ask for your money back. We'll give you a 100% refund, and you can go on and do whatever you need to do. The bottom line is, I know you're going to love it, and I know it's the best in the marketplace. We also recorded a 5-day coaching walking through each course and module and answering questions on the way. That's a recorded version of that, of 5-day coaching. It's a $5,000 bonus. Now, imagine Baron, here's Anwar, another $15,000 checks he's getting. Here's Christopher Kennedy, another closed deal for $5,500 profit. Here's Anthony Price, $40,847 pending deposit in his account. Here's another one from Anthony, $34,220. Imagine you getting deposits like this. How would that feel? Amazing, right? That's you. It's on the way. Now, all these things that come in, access, coaching calls, training, $10,382 value. But we're also going to give an unannounced bonus. All my prize forms, scripts, updated for 2020. It's a $497 value. Unannounced bonus. So every other week, I get on the call, right? And I'll get on a live call. And every other week, Brandon, he's my right-hand man, Brandon the man, and he's was COO of my real estate company for about 5 years here in Phoenix. And now he runs our entire masterminds and our coaching program, and he's amazing. And he knows the business inside and out. He runs his own real estate business and crushing it. So literally every week you can plug in. What he specifically does is you bring properties to him, and he'll tell you what to offer and tell you if it's a deal or no deal. So he'll tell you what to offer on that specific deal. That's $19.97. Unannounced bonus, access to our private members-only Facebook group. There's over close to 9,000 members in that Facebook group now. They all interact and talk and say things and this, that, and the other. It's pretty cool. And all you got to do is go to getremotemillions.com, getremotemillions.com, or below this video, maybe you're on a website below the video, you should see down below a place that you can get signed up. Now, remember, you can use PayPal credit too. PayPal will offer you credit funding so you can start your business. We've actually had a lady out of Tampa, Florida that got started, didn't have the capital to get started immediately, used PayPal credit, got started, got the course, got the information, paid the PayPal. She made a $7,800 check, paid back the 400 or 500 bucks or whatever, $498, and then the rest was profit. And she was a single mom, and that's how she got started. So PayPal credit is definitely an option for you. So if you go to GetRemoteMillions.com, GetRemoteMillions.com, you'll be taken here, right, on this particular page right here. All you got to do is put in your information. Right here you can pick, right here, bam, right, 2 pay, 3 pay. Make sure you put in the, I don't know where the coupon code is. What's the coupon? Is there a coupon code on there? Chelsea. Let's see where the coupon. Where do you put the coupon? Where she put the. Okay, if you don't see the coupon on there, refresh it. Chelsea will get you the coupon. Can you Slack Chelsea? Make sure you put the coupon on there. But you got to put the coupon on there, and then you will be able to get the on there. So Chelsea's going to update that right now. It'll be updated in the next minute, 2 minutes. She'll have it up there, but she'll put the coupon. I just decided to do this 10 minutes before the call, so don't blame them, blame me. It's remote 50, remote 50. She's going to add that coupon on there for you, so you can check that out. But so the bottom line here is this: is that as she's putting that up there, putting that coupon up there, so you can have that, so you can save you 50% on that.
It's under. Do you have a coupon?
Oh, did I miss it?
Yeah, it's under the total.
Oh, where?
Right there where it says total, and then do you have a coupon? You're right over right there.
Oh, is that where the coupon goes?
Yeah,
Oh.
type in remote 50, and then hit the black thing.
Okay, remote 50. There's the coupon. There it is. Boom. $498.50. Okay, good. Right? And you can put it in here. Do you have a coupon? Put the same thing in here. So that will get you the 50% off. All right. I thought I was going crazy here. She's on it. My fault. All right. So the bottom line is go to GetRemoteMillions.com, remote 50. And here's the deal. So Chris, come back to me. So decision time, right? Everything you need to get started. You got a path that I was on when I first got started. I was driving down the freeway, going to my pool appointment, and the guy was talking about doing deals, and I was skeptical. But I was intrigued enough to try it and see you got nothing to lose. And now you got 2 different paths to go down, right? 2 different paths. You either could go down the same path that you've always been going, the same old, right? The same path. But you're going to continue to get what you've always got. So let me ask the question: where were you 3 years ago? Were you driving the same car, living the same lifestyle, having the same issues, having the same amount of money in your bank account? If you look back 3 years ago and there's nothing changed today, or maybe it's even worse, God forbid, then you got to make a change. Something's got to change. You do a different business model, change something up. Right? But if you continue down the same path, you're going to continue to get what you've always got. Now, if you continue down this new path, the fresh path, the different path, the remote millions path, and you try that path, right? The guarantee is, you know what? You get 100% money back guarantee. If you feel I didn't deliver 1,000% on what I'm telling you, right? And you get in there and you're not going to be disappointed, I know it. That when you get in, you're going, oh my gosh, this stuff's incredible. It's going to change your life, right? But if it doesn't, your guarantee is you get your money back. There is no guarantee on the other side. You're guaranteed to get what you've always got. And I want that for you. So get started. Go to Get Remote Millions right now. Get started. Use the coupon before it expires. And I can't wait to meet you or see you on the coaching calls, which would be awesome. Is there any questions, Chris?
Just a couple.
Okay, I'll repeat it.
Have you seen any issues with assignments that are above 35K, and how do you kind of combat that?
Okay, so the question is, have I seen any assignments over $35,000? No, not at all, right? We have not seen any assignments over $35,000 be a problem. We have seen a problem in Northern California on an assignment at $192,000. We had a problem because they thought the value of the property was too low for the tax purposes. So thank God I took a bunch of pictures of the property, and the property was pretty nasty. We sent it to the county recorder so they could see the pictures. Once they saw the pictures, they understood it, and they released it to record. So I've never heard that before, never had that happen before. Even the title lady at Fidelity in California, I've never seen that before, and they're like, holy cow. And luckily we had those pictures and we got it cleared. So that's the only problem we've ever had with assignments.
Mark Monroe just signed up. He's excited.
Mark Monroe's in the house. Boom. Congrats, bro. Congrats. That's what I'm talking about. In the house. All right, man. Thank you so much for being on the call. Greatly appreciate it. I will see you soon. Go out there and crush it. Have a great next week. And I'll see you in the next coaching call. God bless.